Hey guys, welcome back to another quick impressions video to talk about a sequel to one of my favorite, old school arcade games out there. And the sequel is Windjammers 2, which of course it's a sequel to a game that came out over 20 years ago, close to 30 years now. And in fact, one of my first videos in my channel was a Windjammers gameplay video where I was playing through emulation the Neo Geo AES version of the first game, and then of course throughout the years, I was able to pick up the re-release through limited run games, the Vita version, as you guys can see here. I pre-ordered or did a special order of the Vita version of Windjammers, the first one, and the second one just I completely missed it. I think they also have some sort of limited run released, if I'm not mistaken, for a physical version. I didn't pick it up or did anything, but this game was supposed to come out, I want to say maybe a year or two ago, and I think due to the pandemic it got delayed. But nevertheless, it was a pleasant surprise when I saw it available on the Xbox Game Pass service. I don't know if I should say I'm surprised or not, because as of late Game Pass has been knocking it out of the park in terms of providing both new and AAA games and indie new releases. So Windjammers 2 was there, and I'm really glad it was, because the game is pretty short. It's a combination of old school 90s, early 90s, mid 90s fighting games, in terms of the art direction and the characters and just the over-the-top 90s feel to it. So a combination of a fighting game with an air hockey or frisbee hockey, if you will, with just over-the-top characters and extravagant locations. So I absolutely loved the sequel. I had a chance to beat the arcade mode with two characters as of the making of this video, and of course it's a fairly short game. You can complete the arcade mode in under half an hour if you want to, if you're good at the game. And I really like how the sequel paid homage to the first game, Windjammers, to the point that it's actually very similar. And I wouldn't be surprised if there are fans out there that are a little bit disappointed in terms of just how this game looks way too much like the original one. But me, myself, as a fan of the original one, I am pleasantly surprised, and I really like this sequel because I like the feel of the original one, and I think they were able to duplicate and even improve on it with this modern version developed and published by .emu, which they do a fantastic job in terms of the indie releases and whatnot. Now, graphically, this game is very colorful. It pays homage to the original game. A lot of the levels are the same, but of course they're remastered. It's basically a remake. The graphics follow that same, same sprite-based, not sprite-based, but 2D looking, but this time around they look very clean in high definition. They're HD graphics, and the game just looks fantastic, very colorful, and maintaining the original in terms of certain stages are the same and certain characters are the same. But this being a sequel and a new game, the game also offers new stages and new characters as well. As I mentioned, the arcade game is the only one that I messed around with, but it also has an online component where you can play, other people. I haven't tested it out. I think I'm just gonna stick to the arcade mode, where you have this overworld map, and you have I think a total of 5 or 6 rounds. And that's it. Once you defeat 5 or 6 opponents, you're the champion. There are 2 or 3 mini games that are placed in between the regular rounds, which are pretty fun. One of them is the dog Frisbee game, which is also a classic of the original one, where you throw a frisbee and you have to go as far as you can. The controls are very similar to the original one, which is, in my opinion, a good thing. You can slide to catch the frisbee. You can do a lob shot. You can do a power shot. And there are all sorts of techniques that are very useful. And the more you play the game, the more you'll get a feel for what type of shot or type of power you have to use at the right moment. The characters obviously range from being strong but slow two characters that are fast but weak in terms of their power, and then there's of course characters that are very well balanced, and so there's a good range of the different things that you can try in this game. But overall, I was impressed by how close or how much homage to the original ones .emu paid in terms of the graphics, the sound effects, and the overall gameplay. The moves you make, the wrist shots, the lob shots, the power-ups, everything is very, very similar to the original one, which in my opinion, that's a good thing, because the original one was a very fun game, and this game is no exception. I do have to say that it's a short game. It may lack a lot of replay value. It may get old fairly quick. So in my opinion, this is the perfect Game Pass game. So if you guys have the Game Pass service, I definitely give it a shot, and give it preference to be played on that service. But other than that, you can't go wrong. This is the type of game that is very easy to pick up and play, and it just pays homage to those arcade games of the early 90s that were just fun to pick up and play. So with that being said, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all later.